Julian Huxley, born in 1887 to a prominent family of intellectuals, is widely regarded as one of the most influential thinkers of the 20th century. A biologist, philosopher, and advocate for humanism, Huxley's life spanned multiple disciplines, from groundbreaking work in evolutionary biology to active involvement in global political and educational initiatives. Throughout his career, Huxley was deeply committed to the idea that science, when paired with ethical and humanist principles, could guide humanity toward a better future. His intellectual contributions, ranging from his work on evolution to his vision for a more educated and connected world, offer profound lessons that still resonate today. In this video, explore some of the most impactful life lessons Julian Huxley left behind, covering his thoughts on human nature, the environment, education, and the potential for global cooperation. Each lesson serves as a roadmap to how we can better understand and shape our own lives, while addressing the larger challenges of the modern world. 1. The power of evolutionary thinking. Huxley's most significant scientific contribution was his ability to extend the concept of evolution beyond the biological realm. While Charles Darwin introduced the idea of natural selection as the primary mechanism of evolution in species, Huxley recognized that evolution could also serve as a metaphorical framework for understanding human culture, society, and ideas. He believed that humanity's intellectual, moral, and cultural development followed the same evolutionary principles that govern biological life. Huxley's work, particularly in his seminal book Evolution, The Modern Synthesis, emphasized that human society, just like nature, is subject to evolutionary forces. Cultural norms, social structures, and even political systems evolve in response to new ideas and changing environments. Just as species adapt over time, human beings, individually and collectively, adapt to the challenges they face, whether they are environmental, economic, or social. In a broader sense, Huxley's evolutionary thinking called for an adaptive approach to problem solving. Instead of clinging to outdated paradigms or resisting change, individuals and societies should embrace the notion of continuous improvement and evolution. This lesson encourages us to be more flexible in our thinking and more open to new ways of solving problems. It also underscores the idea that progress is not linear, but rather a complex and dynamic process of trial, error, and adaptation. 2. The interconnection of all life. Huxley's belief in the interconnectedness of all life was informed by his work in biology and his broader philosophical outlook. He believed that humans were not separate from the natural world, but rather an integral part of it. He saw the natural world as an interconnected web, where every organism, whether plant, animal, or human, played a crucial role in maintaining ecological balance. This perspective led him to advocate for a more ecological and holistic understanding of humanity's place in the world. In The Humanist Frame and other writings, Huxley warned against anthropocentrism, the idea that humans are the center of the universe and that nature exists solely for human use. He argued that this worldview led to exploitation and environmental degradation. Instead, Huxley promoted a biocentric approach, one that acknowledges the intrinsic value of all living beings and the importance of preserving the natural environment for future generations. The lesson from Huxley is clear: we must recognize our interdependence with the natural world. Our actions, whether in terms of environmental policy, consumer choices, or resource management, affect the entire ecosystem. Understanding this interconnectedness is essential in a world facing climate change, deforestation, and species extinction. Huxley's lesson calls for a more sustainable and responsible relationship with the Earth, one where we act as stewards of the planet rather than masters of it. 3. The role of science in shaping the future. Huxley was a firm believer in the potential of science to improve human life. As a biologist, he saw firsthand how scientific discoveries had transformed our understanding of the natural world and had led to advancements in medicine, agriculture, and technology. However, Huxley was also acutely aware of the ethical dilemmas posed by scientific progress. In works like Science and the Modern World, Huxley argued that while science had immense power to transform society, it also carried great responsibility. Huxley was one of the leading figures behind the founding of UNESCO, where he worked to promote education, science, and culture on a global scale. He saw science as a tool for addressing some of the world's most pressing challenges, from poverty to disease to the prevention of war. However, he also believed that science could not operate in a vacuum. It needed to be guided by moral considerations in order to ensure that its benefits were shared equitably. The lesson here is that while science can unlock new possibilities for humanity, it is our moral compass that determines how those possibilities are used. We must balance technological innovation with ethical wisdom, ensuring that scientific advancements are used for the greater good and do not lead to unintended negative consequences. This lesson is especially pertinent today, as we grapple with issues like artificial intelligence, genetic engineering, and climate change, technologies that offer both great promise and potential peril. 4. The importance of education and enlightenment. Huxley's advocacy for education was rooted in his belief that knowledge was not only essential for personal growth but also for societal progress. As an intellectual committed to advancing human knowledge, Huxley recognized the transformative power of education to elevate individuals and uplift entire societies. In his work with UNESCO, he championed education as a means of promoting peace, understanding, and global cooperation. Huxley believed that education should go beyond rote memorization and should instead foster critical thinking, creativity, and a sense of moral responsibility. In the philosophy of humanism, he argued that education should be a vehicle for enlightenment, helping individuals transcend ignorance and narrow-mindedness. He saw education as a way to instill values like compassion, empathy, and respect for human dignity, values that are essential for building a just and equitable society. The lesson here is that education is not just about acquiring knowledge, it is about developing the ability to think critically, act ethically, and contribute meaningfully to the world. In a modern world that often prioritizes vocational training over intellectual development, Huxley's call for a holistic approach to education is more relevant than ever. It is through education that we can create informed, compassionate citizens capable of solving the world's most pressing problems. 5. Humanity's potential for self-improvement. Throughout his life, Huxley believed in the power of human beings to improve themselves, both intellectually and morally. He was deeply influenced by the idea of self-actualization, the notion that humans have the potential to reach their highest possible form through effort, introspection, and growth. For Huxley, self-improvement was not just a personal endeavor, it was a collective one. He believed that as individuals grew and improved, so too could society at large. In works like The Perennial Philosophy, Huxley emphasized the importance of intellectual growth and self-awareness in achieving personal and societal harmony. He argued that through education, self-reflection, and moral action, individuals could become better versions of themselves, more thoughtful, compassionate, and responsible. This process of self-improvement, according to Huxley, was key to the advancement of civilization. The lesson here is that human potential is not fixed, it is something that can be nurtured and developed over time. By seeking to better ourselves through education, ethical behavior, and self-reflection, we contribute not only to our own growth but to the collective progress of society. Huxley's message is one of hope and possibility, urging us to take responsibility for our own development and to work toward the betterment of the world. 6. Balancing technology with ethical considerations. One of Huxley's key concerns in the mid-20th century was the rapid advancement of technology and its potential to reshape society. While he recognized the tremendous benefits of technology, such as increased life expectancy, improved quality of life, and advancements in medicine, Huxley also warned about the ethical implications of unchecked technological growth. In books like The Humanist Frame and Science in the Modern World, he explored the idea that technological progress should not be pursued for its own sake but should be guided by moral principles. Huxley recognized that technological innovations, while offering the potential for great progress, also posed significant risks. He was particularly concerned with the rise of genetic engineering, the potential for bioengineering, and the possibility of manipulating human nature. While he acknowledged the potential of these technologies to improve the human condition, he also stressed the need for ethical frameworks to govern their use. The lesson here is that while technological advancement can offer tremendous benefits, it must be tempered with ethical considerations. In a world where emerging technologies like artificial intelligence, genetic modification, and automation are reshaping our lives, Huxley's cautionary message remains highly relevant. We must ask not only whether something is scientifically possible, but also whether it is morally justifiable. 7. Secular humanism and the search for meaning. As a secular humanist, Huxley believed that humans were capable of creating meaning and purpose in their lives through intellectual and moral pursuits, rather than relying on religious or supernatural explanations. He rejected traditional religious dogma, instead advocating for a human-centered worldview based on reason, compassion, and the pursuit of knowledge. Huxley believed that through self-awareness, ethical behavior, and intellectual growth, individuals could live fulfilling lives that contributed to the common good. In his work The Perennial Philosophy, Huxley examined the commonalities between the world's major religious and philosophical traditions. He argued that while the specific beliefs of these traditions may differ, they shared a common core of wisdom that emphasized compassion, self-control, and the pursuit of truth. This universal wisdom, according to Huxley, could guide humans toward a deeper understanding of themselves and the world around them. The lesson here is that meaning is not something bestowed upon us by external forces, but something we create through our actions, choices, and intellectual endeavors. In today's world, where many people are searching for purpose in an increasingly secular and fragmented society, Huxley's emphasis on secular humanism offers a compelling framework for finding meaning through reason, compassion, and self-improvement. 8. The need for global cooperation. In an increasingly interconnected world, Huxley recognized that humanity's greatest challenges could not be solved in isolation. Whether it was the fight against disease, the preservation of the environment, or the prevention of global conflict, Huxley believed that cooperation among nations was essential for addressing the pressing issues of the 20th century and beyond. Huxley's involvement in the founding of UNESCO exemplified his commitment to global cooperation. He saw UNESCO as a platform for fostering international collaboration in education, science, and culture. By working together, nations could overcome shared challenges and build a more just, equitable, and peaceful world. The lesson here is that in a globalized world, the challenges we face, whether climate change, pandemics, or inequality, require collective action. No nation can solve these problems alone, and Huxley's call for global cooperation is more urgent than ever. By embracing a spirit of collaboration, understanding, and mutual respect, we can build a better future for all. 9. Embrace the fluidity of human nature. Huxley's perspective on human nature was far from static. He viewed human beings not as unchanging, fixed entities but as complex, evolving creatures capable of significant transformation. This idea can be traced back to his understanding of evolution as an ongoing, adaptive process. For Huxley, human nature was not predetermined but shaped by both biological influences and cultural forces. This fluidity allowed for growth, change, and progress, but also required constant introspection and effort. In his work, Huxley encouraged individuals to recognize their own potential for change and improvement. He saw this fluidity not as a weakness or uncertainty but as a strength, offering individuals the chance to learn from experience and shape their futures consciously. Whether through personal reflection, the pursuit of knowledge, or active engagement in social causes, humans could evolve in response to the challenges of their time. The lesson Huxley imparted was to embrace the potential for change within oneself and in society. In modern times, this lesson is particularly significant as we navigate complex issues related to identity, culture, and personal development. Huxley's belief in the fluidity of human nature invites us to be open to new ideas, constantly questioning and adapting in order to achieve personal and collective growth. 10. The search for harmony between science and spirituality. Though Huxley was firmly grounded in the scientific worldview, he was not dismissive of spirituality. Instead, he sought to bridge the gap between science and spirituality, recognizing that both could provide valuable insights into human existence. He saw science as a means to understand the material world and the laws governing nature, while spirituality, in his view, could offer a deeper understanding of moral values, human purpose, and the existential questions that science could not address. Huxley's interest in spirituality was influenced by his engagement with a variety of philosophical and religious traditions, including mysticism and Eastern thought. He believed that science and spirituality were not necessarily in conflict but could complement each other in a way that enriched human understanding. While science offered us the how of existence, spirituality provided a framework for addressing the why. This lesson calls for a balance between the rational and the spiritual. In today's world, where scientific progress often appears at odds with traditional spiritual beliefs, Huxley's call for harmony remains particularly relevant. He invites us to view science not as the enemy of spirituality, but as a tool that can coexist with and even enhance our understanding of deeper spiritual truths. Whether through meditation, philosophical inquiry, or a commitment to ethical living, Huxley's life reminds us that the search for truth requires an openness to both the scientific and the spiritual dimensions of our existence. Conclusion. Julian Huxley's life and work remain a powerful source of inspiration for those seeking to understand the complexity of the modern world. His lessons on the interconnectedness of life, the transformative power of education, and the need for ethical considerations in the face of technological progress offer timeless wisdom. As we continue to navigate the challenges of the 21st century, Huxley's insights provide a guiding framework for creating a more informed, compassionate, and cooperative global society.